because the underlying premises are that both jobs are doing historically and in contemporary society a good, okay, for the benefit of civilization, or overall for the benefit of society, and also that like the actions that are being taken are a part of the fucking training, and also on top of that, literally something that is shielded by law. Yeah. Trump is not live. Please stop. He's not live. Dude, teachers are meant to uphold education and cops are meant to uphold educational beatings. You have this disgustingly mixed up, bro. What? I think my analogy holds perfectly. Or not analogy, but my criticism of his analogy is perfect. Please do not try to make a bad analogy as an analogy for how bad this analogy is. I promise it won't help. Yeah, no, I was going to say it's like saying Hitler only cared about, how dare you criticize Hitler, much like fucking any other government, any other leader of an administration. He just wanted what was best for his people. Like, that's literally what the analogy would look like. It's like, no, it's specifically the actions that he took that are the fucking problem. It's not that it was good governance. There's a difference between good governance and bad governance. Okay? That's the difference. Bro, Trump is not live. I don't know why so many. I don't know. Yeah, Candace Owens did unironically say that. Why are there so many fucking brain dead people in here that like think Trump is live because some right-wing broadcaster is saying Trump is live? He's not live.
The election. They knew why, nobody else did. I knew why. They're illegal voters. It is a travesty that in the year 2020, we do not have any means of verifying the eligibility of those who cast ballots in an election, and such an important election it is, or determining who they are, whether they live in the state, or whether they are even American citizens. We have no idea. We have in all swing states major infractions or outright fraud, which is far more in numbers or votes than we need to overturn the results of a state. In other words, in Wisconsin, as an example, where we were way up on election night, they ultimately had us miraculously losing by 20,000 votes. And I can show you right here that Wisconsin, we're leading by a lot. And then at 3:42 in the morning, there was this. It was a massive dump of votes. Mostly Biden, almost all Biden. And to this day, everyone's trying to figure out, where did it come from? But I went from leading by a lot to losing by a little.
What? Bro, this is like, I don't know how to analogize this, because it's like if you're a kid, okay, and your fucking parents tell you like, don't go and touch that fucking pan because the pan is hot.
My dad said to stop retweeting you. How do you think he'll react when I tell him I give you money too?
He'll love it. It's like if you're a kid and your parents are like, don't touch the pan, it's hot. Okay, it'll hurt you.
Hi, Chad.
And you're like, and then you make yourself believe that the pan is not hot. Okay? And then you finally touch the pan and your hand gets fucking fried and you're still like, no, it's not hot. It's not hot. Or that, oh, I don't know. I don't know why people were, like, you set it up. I fucked it up. I can't do analogies. I'm not doing analogies anymore. You are the reason why this outcome happened, okay?
I must touch the pan.
You are the reason why. You are the reason why the vote outcome looks like this because your administration undermined efforts to make sure that every fucking state, just like the state of Florida, would reveal results immediately. You are literally the reason. That is precisely why some of these states were not able to go out and fucking count the votes early. The reason why they weren't able to count early votes and then only reveal it on election night is the action of Republican legislatures. So he's the one who set it up so that there was this confusion. And now he's like, why is there this? And many people are confused by this. I'm confused by this. It's like, bitch, you did that. You're the one who did it.
And that's right here. That's at 3:42 in the morning. That's Wisconsin. A terrible thing. Terrible, terrible thing.
Guess what, bitch? You lost $3 million, even though he did raise apparently $150 million. $150 motherfucking million dollars from idiots who thought that they were funding an honorable, justifiable cause.
I hate this dumb idiot. Why do you always watch him? Can you at least take your shirt off when you watch Trump clips, please? I want to continue to watch, but it's so cringe.
Absolutely not.
But we will have far more, many times
every
more,
time he says another word,
than the 20,000 votes needed to overturn the state. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of votes. We're talking about numbers like nobody has ever seen before. Just as an example, in certain states, we'll be down by, let's say, 7,000 votes. But we'll find later on 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 discrepancies or fraudulent votes. And that includes votes that went through when they were not allowed to be seen by Republican poll watchers because the poll watchers were locked out of the building.
Not true.
For people that innocently came to vote on November 3rd.
Not true. Literally not true. Literally not true. None of it is true. Not only is it not true, but you got owned, bitch. You got fucking owned, motherfucker. You got straight the fuck up owned in court. Like, he's still, like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. He originally set it up so that there were going to be discrepancies in the vote count ahead of time. Then when it happened, he goes, oh, why is that happening? Then he lies about how, like, oh, well, you know, poll watchers were not allowed in the rooms. That's a fucking lie. He gets owned in court and he just keeps fucking lying. Literally, he's still lying to his audience. What a Weasley little liar, dude. Still lying to his audience, dude. I mean, seriously, though, like, if any of this had any legs whatsoever, then at the very least, you can make an argument in a court of law, dude.
They come from? Where did they
We're
go?
all excited about their vote. They were happy. They were proud to be citizens of the United States of America. And they went up and they said, I'd like to vote. And they were told that they can't vote. I'm sorry, they were told. I'm sorry. You've already voted by mail-in ballot. Congratulations. We received a ballot, so you can no longer vote. They didn't know what to do. They had no one to complain to. Most just left and said, that's strange. But many people complained and complained vehemently. And in a lot of cases, they filled out a provisional ballot, which was almost never used, but in virtually every case was a vote for Trump. In other words, they went in to vote, and they were told that they voted. And they didn't vote. And they left, and they felt horror. And they lost respect for our system. And this happened tens of thousands of times all over the country. That's how desperate the Democrats were. They would fill out ballots of people not even knowing if these people were going to show up. And when they did show up, they said, sorry, you've already voted. And on top of everything else, we have a company that's very suspect. Its name is Dominion. With the turn of a dial or the change of a chip, you can press a button for Trump and the vote goes to Biden. What kind of a system is this? We have to go to paper. Maybe it takes longer, but the only secure system is paper. Not these systems that nobody understands, including, in many cases, the people that run them, although unfortunately, I think they understand them far too well. In one Michigan county, as an example, that used Dominion systems, they found that nearly 6,000 votes had been wrongly switched from Trump to Biden. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is what we caught. How many didn't we catch? Are there hundreds of other examples throughout the country? Are there thousands? We just got lucky, and they called it a glitch. But we found numerous glitches that evening. 96% of the company's political donations went to Democrats, not surprisingly. And frankly, when you look at who's running the company, who's in charge, who owns it, which we don't know, where are the votes counted, which we think are counted in foreign countries, not in the United States, Dominion is a disaster. Election authorities in Texas have repeatedly blocked the deployment of Dominion systems due to concerns about security vulnerabilities and the potential for errors and outright fraud. Every district that uses Dominion systems must be carefully monitored and carefully investigated, but not only for the future. Right now, we're worried about the present and what went on with an election that we won without question.
Dude, you gotta have a better argument, dude. This is so sad. Listen, if your fucking entire argument revolves around basically repeating the talking points of the fucking psychotic lawyer that you very publicly distanced yourself from just a week ago, then you're fucking losing, dude. It's so, I mean, not only did you fucking lose the election, but you're losing the argument. Like, at this point, it's just an over-reliance on how fucking devastatingly dumb your audience is. Like, that's all he's doing right now is just like, you guys are really stupid and you'll believe anything I say. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are that stupid. But like, he's not even, like, at least old school Republicans, I guess, for old school Republicans, at least, like, real Republican operators would, like, do the fucking work. You know what I mean? Like, undermine the integrity of elections, like, more successfully, ahead of time. You know what I mean? Like, closed out polling stations they tried to do already. Like, he failed to deny the existence of COVID because so many people fucking died. He failed to, for example, adequately tackle COVID as a crisis so that he could not have an argument for why people should vote by mail and early. Like, if he had tackled COVID appropriately early on, one, he would not have suffered in the polls. The economy would not have suffered as much. And lastly, he could have at least made an argument that, like, no, you can vote in person. Like, don't be crazy. So he fucked up COVID, fucked up the economy as a consequence of fucking up COVID. Then he fucked up he fucked up stopping and preventing people from being able to go out and vote early. All he ended up doing was make his own audience, make his own fucking stands, not take advantage of early voting, which deterred voting for him. So he fucked himself over. Okay? And because the states in which he was supposed to at least, like, win or come close to winning were not, the margins there were so wide that like he can't even fucking establish an argument. So now he's just like repeating the same talking points of his own line of defense, his own fucking legal argument that he personally believes is fucking silly.
Under my lead, the Republicans won almost every state house in the United States, which they weren't expected to do. We won up to 16 seats in the House. The number.
Okay. Why? Like, easy
Every time you
questions to
say
always
white
ask
people,
your
it sounds
Republican
like you're
friends.
saying white people.
It doesn't really matter. They're gonna say, oh, because they're like bad at cheating. But like, why is it that Democrats would fuck themselves over if they're literally fucking cheating to win the presidency? Why would they not fucking win the House by the wide margin they were predicted to win, and also win the Senate seats they were predicted to win? Why would they fucking put an upset there? If Dominion voters, if the Dominion voting systems were so easily fucked over, then why didn't Hillary Clinton, who apparently cheated in the primaries, beyond like, you know, getting beyond collaborating with the DNC and collaborating with the media, but if she was cheating in the primaries and she had the capability of cheating in the general, why did she lose? Because if you get 100% on your test, that's sus. Yeah, but it's a failing grade to win the presidency, but not the fucking Senate. Like, you think, why didn't they just win the Senate? Why didn't they win the Senate in places where they fucking won? Like, why didn't they just give the two fucking Georgia seats on top of, for example, on top of the presidential race? If they could cheat in Georgia, why is there a runoff happening right now? Because if we're talking about it as a pass-fail grade, then not getting majority in the Senate is a fail. Like, you're cheating to lose. You're cheating to fail. Or maybe because no one fucking cheated and you're delusional
are still being tabulated because there are 9 seats that nobody really knows. They don't know. They're still, 2 weeks later, still under consideration because it's a mess. Republicans were supposed to lose many seats, and instead they won those seats in the House. And a very important election that's coming up will determine whether or not we hold the Senate. David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler are 2 tremendous people. Unfortunately, in Georgia, they use.
Just remind yourself that the swing state counties that use Dominion voting machines mostly voted for Trump. Voting machines provided to the counties by Dominion voting systems allowed a national conspiracy involving both Democrats and Republicans to flip votes cast for President Trump to ones for President-elect Joe Biden. This was simply a repeat of what happened in Venezuela a few years ago, where the same system was in place. As a result, Biden was fraudulently elected as president. Okay. One is that the system implicated in the Venezuelan election isn't actually linked to Dominion in a meaningful way. Another is that the idea that Republican officials such as Governor Brian Kemp somehow ensured a victory for Biden is ludicrous. Like, why the fuck would Brian Kemp do that? The third is that there's literally no evidence that any such changes were made. Also, another one is like, Dominion has been used before. Why didn't fucking Hillary Clinton win with Dominion? That's another good one too. But upon digging even slightly deeper into the conspiracy theory, a theory that's been touted not only by former Trump attorney Sidney Powell, but the president himself, the idea Dominion systems were used so the election quickly breaks down. Because out of the 10 key states, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, finds that Dominion systems were used in 351 of 731 counties, and Trump won 283 of those. 81% of the counties where Dominion was used, Trump won. Now, of course, you could say, well, what about the big counties? That's where the Democrats won. That's where it matters. Okay. But still, why wouldn't they fucking cheat in the counties where rural rural votes were being cast to Donald Trump?
Public schools? Where did you go to school, etc. Teacher BT.
Isn't it better to look at population instead of county number? Of course it is. Of course. It's like, it's a shifty argument on behalf of. There's like 11 different reasons why this is bullshit. It's just a funny one on top of that. That's the reason why I'm pointing to it. Like, the reason why I think it's hilarious is because he won only 79% of the counties that didn't use Dominion systems, but 81% of the counties that did use Dominion systems. There's like 11 million rebuttals here to how psychotic this is. Sorry, hold on. I'm like debating. Leaf Hong in the DMs. Okay.
Using the same horrible Dominion system. And it's already been out that hundreds of thousands, think of it, hundreds of thousands of absentee ballots have been requested. You check it out, who's requesting those ballots. The difference is it's one state and we will have our eyes on it like nobody's ever watched anything before because we have to win those 2 Senate seats. The tremendous success we had in the House of Representatives and the tremendous success we've had so far in the Senate, unexpected success all over the country and right here in Washington. It is statistically impossible that the person, me, that led the charge, lost. The greatest pollsters, the real pollsters, not the ones that had us down.
Come on, I can't leave on that one. It's impossible for the greatest person who's ever existed, me. It was impossible for me to lose.
17 points in Wisconsin when we actually won. Well, the ones that had us down 4 or 5 points in Florida, and we won by many points. Or had us even and down in Texas, and we won by a lot. Not those pollsters, but real pollsters. Pollsters that are fair and honest, said we can't understand a thing like this. It's never happened before. You led the country to victory, and you were the only one that was lost. It's not possible. The Speaker of the House of a certain state said, "Sir, I expected to lose my seat, and instead, because of you and because of that incredible charge and all of those rallies, we had a tremendous victory, and everybody knows it. You were much more popular than me, sir, except I got many more votes than you did, and it's impossible that that happened. There is something wrong. I'll tell you what's wrong. Voter fraud. Here's an example. This is Michigan. At 6:31 in the morning, a vote dump of 149,772 votes came in unexpectedly. We were winning by a lot. That batch was received in horror. Nobody knows anything about it. By the way, there's your line. This is one of many. Here's what is normal. And all of a sudden, look at that. This is normal. Normal. Look, even here. Normal. And then boom, all of a sudden, I go from winning by a lot
so good
to losing.
Look at that.
A tight race. It's corrupt. Detroit is corrupt. I have a lot of friends in Detroit. They know it. But Detroit is totally corrupt. Look at this. Look at this. That's at
Not all of us new subs are leaving after the election, Hassan.
Unexpectedly
I sub for the political content, but
in the recent recount in Georgia, which means nothing because they don't want to check signatures. And if you're not going to check signatures in Georgia, it doesn't work. But we have a Secretary of State and a governor who made it very difficult to check signatures. Why? You'll have to ask them. But without a signature match or check, it doesn't matter. They found thousands and thousands of votes that were out of whack, all against me. This was during a recount that I didn't even think mattered. They found many thousands of votes, and that recount didn't matter. The one that matters is the one that's going on now. That because of the fact it's so close, they had to, by law, give another recount. But the recount
so glad YouTube
has to be a recount where they check the signatures. Otherwise, they're just checking the same dishonest thing. It won't matter.
Yeah, the worst part about this is that like he is like actually threatening the lives of so many like poll workers that work for free, for example. You know what I mean? Like these are like grandma and grandpa that fucking love democracy or whatever theory they believe that like the American democracy represents, who worked for fucking pizza into the late hours of the night. And now Trump is just like, they're fucking terrible. They're demons. They're all demon rat demons. And it's like, okay. Well, now people are threatening them. So what are we going to do about that?
In this case, the signatures on envelopes are the only thing that is relevant.
Deep State can... Oh, Chunk Yogurt is back. Yes. He's back. Oh, you literally believe in deep state CIA conspiracies against black and brown people, but when it comes to the possibility of the deep state rigging the election against Trump, you say it's ridiculous. Dumb much? Deep state conspiracies are only real if it's against black and brown people. First of all, deep state is an implication that is different. Like it's like a parallel interest alongside the actual interest of the state. I hope you understand that. It implies that there is one layer beneath the actual like State Department. So like there's a CIA and then there's a deep state that's operating at the interest of like something different. Okay? So you can't point to like already declassified documentation as like deep state, especially if it's like regular CIA propositions, especially if it's like just regular CIA operational protocol. So it's not deep state to be like CIA fucking traffic drugs to fund their clandestine operations. That's just history. Okay? Dumb much.
Imagine debating.
And secondly, that's not against the interest of the CIA. That was what also happened to align with the American State Department as a whole, or our foreign policy as a whole. So it's not exactly deep state. I love him, dude. This is my favorite. The same way you're phobic against the police. When one cop does something bad, you think it's okay to burn the entire city using your logic. Yeah. I have to drop out of my first semester of school financial aid, not cover all the way. Wait, why?
Hey,
Gamer who flew killer drones with the U.S. Army. I don't want to fucking watch that. Yeah, I'm copophobic, baby.
We'll compare the signature on the envelope to the signatures from past elections, and we will find that many thousands
is exactly what I would
people
expect from a guy who
signed these ballots illegally. The Democrats had this election rigged right from the beginning.
Wait, justifying destroying poor families' livelihoods and looting them through riots is exactly what I would expect. Wait, what? Are we just like making up stuff about me now? What else you got? At least the least you could do is just like make up fun stuff or cool stuff. Like, why stop there? Be like, I'm the one who's looting families. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for your $5 donation, by the way. But if you're gonna make stuff up, why would you just say like I'm justifying destroying poor families' livelihoods and looting them through riots? Just say like I am rioting and also looting poor families and destroying their fucking property.
They use the pandemic, sometimes referred to as the China virus.
4 months.
Anyone who bought Cyberpunk 2077 from Best Buy got the game already? Wait, what? What the fuck did you just say? Tom Pendragon, I said your name on stream. HasanAbi knows Aikido and beat up Mike Pence in high school. Yeah, just like make some fun stuff up.
Where it originated, as an excuse to mail out tens of...
Wait, you got it 7 days early? There's no way. There's no way. Really? There's
Trump's
a bunch of
smears dog shit on himself
I
every
get what
morning.
Chunk Yogurt is saying. You don't think the CIA deep state will use rigging tactics against future American leftists in elections? You seriously don't think the CIA will rig an election against an anti-imperialist that threatens the CIA? Wait, you think the CIA rigged an election against Donald Trump because he's an anti-imperialist? And like anti-CIA or something? Are you fucking stupid? No, that's a tanky TX Capital.
millions of ballots, which ultimately led to a big part of the fraud, a fraud that the whole world is watching. And there is no one happier right now
6 votes.
than
Lamella of
China.
your stream. Hassan would love to do
Many
a
people
portrait of you,
received
bruh.
2, 3, and 4 ballots. They were sent to dead people by the thousands. In fact, dead people, and we have many examples, filled out ballots, made applications, and then voted, which is even worse. In other words, dead people went through a process. Some have been dead for 25 years. Millions of votes were cast illegally in the swing states alone. And if that's the case, the results of the individual swing states must be
These zombies hate
overturned
Trump, Saj.
and overturned immediately. Some people say that's too far out. That's too harsh. Well, does that mean we take a president and we've just elected a president where the votes were fraudulent? No, it means you have to turn over the election. And everybody knows, without going much further, and they've seen the evidence, but they don't want to talk about it, what a disaster this election was, a total catastrophe. But we're going to show it, and hopefully the courts in particular, the Supreme Court of the United States will see it, and respectfully, hopefully they will do what's right for our country, because our country cannot live with this kind of an election. We could say, let's go on to the next one. But no, we have to look also at our past. We can't let this happen. Maybe you'll have a revote, but I don't think that's appropriate. When those votes are corrupt, when they're irregular, when they get caught, they're terminated. And I very easily win. In all states, I very easily win these swing states. Just like I won them at 10 o'clock in the evening of the election. So we're not...
But at 10 o'clock, he didn't win the election. This is the funniest part of the lie. Is that, like, he hadn't even won the election at 10 o'clock. Like, he had not won anything at that point. He won at 10:62 p.m. Bro, he's his own attorney general who is like Mr. American fascism, okay? Like Mr. Unitary Executive, like grossly, who has dedicated his entire life to solidifying the power and expanding the power to presidency. A guy who literally wants to make America a fascist, like a presidential autocratic dictatorship. Bill Barr, he himself was like, yeah, no one, our investigation came up with zero
Love you, Hassan. Thank you
evidence,
for all you do.
or not enough evidence that there was there is to dispute the fucking outcome of these, to dispute the outcome of these
Why do I see ads?
these elections.
I'm not looking to show you 25 faulty or fraudulent votes, which don't mean anything because it doesn't overturn the state, or 50 or 100. We're showing you...
Oh, there's this too. President Trump has mused privately about replacing Attorney General Bill Barr with somebody who will be more willing to do his bidding as well. What? There's a PS5 Pro coming out already? Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Hundreds of thousands, far more than we need, far more than the margin, far more than the law requires. We can show many times what is necessary to win the state. The media knows this, but they don't want to report it.
Bar was the Lewinsky
In fact,
dragon.
they
Yeah. Just so people know, the 1/1/1900 birthday is used as a placeholder for tabulation until birthday is added accurately in the record, which is common practice. Many people think this means that dead people voted. Yeah, I know. We've talked about it like 11 times since then. I didn't know about it either. Originally, I was like, I thought that was suspicious too, and you guys immediately told me. Well, I assumed that it was like a placeholder or some shit, but
outright refuse to even cover it because they know the result if they do. Even what I'm saying.
wait. So Chunk Yoga says, you sure would believe that the CIA would rig the election against Bernie, but you would sit here calling Trump and his supporters crazy for believing the same? Yeah. Because Donald Trump is a regular Republican. Why would the CIA rig the election again? Like, if you were to tell me that Donald Trump has like a radical point of view that is so different that it undermines the interest of like American institutions, or that it undermines like the CIA's agenda or something like that, like if you had a take like that, then you could win me over a little bit. Like, do I think that in the future a potential leftist movement could be absolutely stopped by our own intelligence communities? Yes, I do. I do believe that. I mean, we know that COINTELPRO is real. It's not like a fucking fake thing. The intelligence communities have routinely tried to subvert radical leftist activism. Now, the difference is, at that same time, they were also among the ranks of the KKK, for example, and yet they just couldn't get themselves to do the same treatment to the KKK as they did to like Fred Hampton or the Black Panthers or numerous other black figures and black movements. The reason for why that is the case, of course, is that because KKK is a white supremacist organization and therefore does not undermine the interests or the status quo. They undermine the interests of the American government or the status quo. After all, we live in a white supremacist country, right? And the same argument exists for Donald Trump. It's not like Donald Trump was or did anything that that would threaten the legitimacy of these institutions or the interests of these institutions. He can threaten the legitimacy of them, but he can't exactly fucking change these institutions. He didn't want to. He was just doing exactly what any other Republican would do. So why the fuck would they try to?
Love you, Hassan. Thank you for radicalizing me, Pogo.
Dude, I can't believe that they got their fucking Cyberpunk Game Collector's Edition. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my fucking mind. Is this real? Oh my god. It's fake, right?
Saying now.
I'm not attacking the state, just trying to understand what you're saying. Do you think that the 2016 primary was rigged like how Trump is saying? No. The DNC is a private institution. You don't have to have a fair and free election regardless. But do I think that the DNC actually rigged votes against Bernie Sanders? Fuck no. Just like they didn't do it in 2020 either. The only thing that they did was undermine Bernie Sanders by way of utilizing the media, the fourth estate that specifically is there to uphold the status quo, just like the fucking CIA is. They didn't like change fucking votes. No, Bernie lost because less people voted for him than voted for Joe Biden in these states.
Will be demeaned and disparaged, but that's okay. I just keep on going forward because I'm representing 74 million people, and in fact, I'm also representing all of the people that didn't vote for me. The mail-in voting scam is the latest part of their 4-year effort to overturn the results of the 2016 election, and it's
Oh, this was 10 days ago, man. He does. He's against the wars in the deep state. Dude, shut the fuck up, dude. He's not against the wars, you fucking dipshit. He's not against the wars. Why would he be against the wars? Is that why he fucking drone strike more than Obama? Is that why he's trying to start one with Iran? Really? Because he's against the wars that he's like literally trying to fucking start a new one with Iran on his way out? Okay, is this a joke? So my Cyberpunk game collector's edition just came from Best Buy, and I'm definitely holding a sealed copy of it. What is going on? Are you fucking kidding me? Am I the only person who doesn't have Cyberpunk? Oh my god! Ah! 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 You can't stream it anyway. I know, but I would maybe turn off the stream a little bit just to like... just to fuck around, you know? He's literally in the game too. He would never, I don't think he would fuck himself over like that, but easy there, King. Bebela, Nevada 2016 and DNC 2016 convention.
7 months Poggies shoutouts to stream discussion hassle.
Call is already in the game. Yeah, people are already streaming in the Cyberpunk category. Fuck, dude. La 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 la. Best Buy couldn't keep up with the delays, so they just sent out their orders, I'm assuming. Fuck.
It's been like living in hell. Our opponents have proven many times, again and again, that they will say and do anything to get back into power. The corrupt forces who are registering dead voters and stuffing ballot boxes are the same people who have perpetrated one phony and fraudulent hoax after another. You've been watching it now for 4 years. These entrenched interests oppose our movement because we put America first. They don't put America first. And we're returning power to you, the American people. They don't want America first.
I mean, not to actually support the crazies, but while he does generally represent capital interests, he's also emotionally and mentally unstable. CIA and establishment could conceivably see this as a national security risk and want to remove him and replace him with a more stable individual. Brother, if they have that kind of power to fucking undermine him, why don't they just fucking clap him then? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's much easier to just fucking assassinate him than to and literally just to fucking remember him as a legendary figure no matter what. Why would they fucking use Dominion voting processes to like fucking change the outcome of certain votes but not others? Like, what kind of psychotic nonsense is this shit? Like, no, I refuse. Like, Ronald Reagan had dementia, okay? He was fine. They have ways of just getting you to shut the fuck up and stay behind the scenes. If Ronald Reagan could run the country while he was very clearly experiencing dementia and everything was fine and it didn't represent a true threat to the glorious American intelligence community, I think Donald Trump would, as long as he's kept happy, would probably do the same. Assassination is a highly unstable event they can't control the narrative of, ? They don't even need to assassinate. They could just like get him to shut the fuck up. Just let him win. And he would shut the fuck up. And they'd be like, we made you win. Shut up. Making Trump a martyr would be far, far worse. No, the fuck it wouldn't. Donald Trump is a regular Republican. That's why I'm so confident that, like, they wouldn't need to do any of that shit. Because he's a regular Republican. Ultimately, every single thing that he did, every single thing that they fucking, every single thing that his administration did is just regular Republican shit. You are delusional to think otherwise because you consume too much fucking news. The actual policies of the Trump administration are just textbook Republican, but more successful, if you will, if we're going to be honest.
They only want power for themselves. They want to make money. That's why they don't want me as your president. I've been investigated from soon after I announced I was running for president, when I immediately went to #1 in the Republican primary polls. The investigations never stopped. They went on for 4 years. And I won them all. I beat them all. Russia, Russia, Russia. The impeachment hoax.
Like, CIA is so fucking good at rigging elections, but they can't control the fucking narrative, dude. Like, they can't even get him to shut the fuck up. Like, they rigged the election against the guy. Like, he would have to also... God, this is so fucking dumb. Like, it's so dumb that, like, I have to think about it more to, like, accurately address it. Because it's one of those takes where you're like, you haven't been hit with that before, where you're like, oh my God. Like, what? You think the CIA would fucking rig an election against Donald Trump? Like, how would they even have the power to do so? But let's say they have the power to do so. If they have that kind of power, why wouldn't they do something different? Why wouldn't they just, like, keep Donald Trump in check? Donald Trump does not fucking damage the integrity of the CIA, okay? If anything, is the CIA innately conservative? Yes. Yes. These institutions are ultimately super fucking conservative, too. That's the other part. Like, why didn't they do it in 2016? You think Hillary Clinton was not going to be fucking super pro G-man? What are you, crazy? Yeah. Also, they couldn't even rig the Bolivian election, so I think the CIA is a little... They're no longer as competent as they once were. So maybe that's why they failed to rig the election. Or sorry, successfully rigged the election but failed to cover up their tracks, even though there are no tracks. There is no evidence. That's the other part. What am I doing? Why am I even taking this seriously when there's literally no fucking evidence, dude? God damn. This is the problem with, like, fucking insane takes where you're like, Director Brennan reformed the CIA into a neoliberal company. Yes, neoliberalism is still inherently conservative. What are you talking about?
And so much more. Robert Mueller spent $48 million of taxpayer money investigating me for 2.5 years.
They just follow the interests of capital. Conservatism and liberalism doesn't have much to do with it. Yeah, but liberalism and conservatism is also... both conservative and follow the interests of capital.
Issued over 2,800 subpoenas, executed nearly 500 search warrants, issued 230 orders for communications records, and conducted 500 witness...
Anything not Marxist/communist is conservative.
So glad to catch you.
No, I don't think social Democrats are conservative. I wouldn't even say Keynesians are conservative. I think those are progressive economics. Even if you're to consider like Janet Yellen or someone who is otherwise a capitalist that still believes in like robust redistributive policies, I would not say that they are conservative. I think according to the like not universal, but like global Overton window, most of those people, most social democrats would still be on the progressive side on that equation. But liberals range from fucking like center right all the way to the far right. Like it still revolves around the fucking defense of private property, capital gains, like protecting that order.
Interviews, all looking to take me down.
Also, ad time. I'm running it right now.
There was no collusion in the
By the way, if you would like an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe for free with your Twitch Prime. Go ahead. Try it out. There's a link right on there. Right on my head right here somewhere on the fucking page where you could just like, boop, click on it, and then you subscribe for free with your Twitch Prime. You connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. Or you can connect, and this is the best one, your mom or your wife's Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. Or rather, your wife's boyfriend's Amazon Prime account. Especially if your wife's boyfriend is a fucking is a chud, then you know he's gonna hate that you're using their Amazon Prime, connecting it to your Twitch Prime, and then using it on me. Here's the ad. No, I didn't run the ad yet. I ran it. I ran it now. They did hear it.
The end. None whatsoever. Senator Marco Rubio, the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, stated the committee found no evidence that then-candidate Donald Trump or his campaign colluded with the Russian government. And I thank Senator Rubio for that statement. Now I hear that these same people that failed to get me in Washington have sent every piece of information to New York so that they can try to get me there. It's all been gone over and over again. For $48 million, you go through tax returns, you go through everything. The New York Attorney General, who recently ran for office, campaigned without knowing me, stating, we will join with law enforcement and other attorneys general across this nation in removing this president from office. I never met her. It's important that everybody understand, she said, that the days of Donald Trump are coming to an end. And all it's been is a big investigation in Washington and New York and any place else that can investigate, because that's what they want to do. They want to take not me, but us down. And we can never let them do that. Everything's been looked at. A friend of mine who's very smart said, you've probably seen more than anybody else. You've probably been investigated more than anybody else. And for you to come out with a clean bill of health makes you probably the cleanest person in this country. Some people in this administration, but fortunately not all, have been beaten down and disparaged. They just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. Why aren't they active? Why aren't they involved? There's so much to be involved in. The corruption is so rampant. They just couldn't take it anymore. They were threatened by Democrats with impeachment, and horrible things were said about them, and they're good people. Even recently, the head of the GSA was hounded and harassed, as she reported, like she has never been before. What can I say? We caught Comey cold. We caught McCabe cold. We caught them all. We're still waiting for a report.
What is that? Comey Co. We got Comey Co. Yeah. Oh yeah. Comey is not only a Republican, but also a Republican who helped Donald Trump. If there is a singular entity that you can absolutely point to that had a profound impact, it's James motherfucking Comey. Okay? Like,
Not
as far as the election goes, as far as 2016 goes, like people talk about like Russia or numerous other reasons. Like, of course, it's multivariate. There's so many different reasons, but there is one reason that like literally just stands as an outlier, and that is Jim Comey's second letter.
From a man named Durham, who I have never spoken to and I have never met. They can go after me before the election as much as they want. But unfortunately, Mr. Durham didn't want to go after these people or have anything to do with going after them before the election. So who knows if he is ever going to even do a report. But if you look at the lies and the leaks and the illegal acts and behavior done by so many people in their desire to hurt the President of the United States,
here we go, BB.
Something should happen. The hardest thing I have to do is explain why nothing is happening with all of these people that got caught spying on my campaign. It's never happened before, and it should never happen again to a president of the United States. All you have to do is watch the hearings and see for yourself. The evidence is overwhelming. The fraud that we've collected in recent weeks is overwhelming, having to do with our election. Everyone is saying, wow, the evidence is overwhelming when they get to see it. But really, it's too late to change the course of an election. It's too late to change the outcome. In fact, there is still plenty of time to certify the correct winner of the election.
It will be included
and that's
in George
what we're fighting to do.
Book, Winds of
But he's got no evidence. I just find it so odd. I'm kind of glad Liv stopped pushing the Mueller stuff in the last few months. It makes it so much easier to distance from the fake voter fraud claims.
But no matter when it happens, when they see fraud, when they see false votes, and when those votes number far more than is necessary, you can't let another person steal that election from you. All over the country, people are together in holding up signs. Stop the steal.
I just got
to understand how we will challenge this fraud, it is important to know the problems with mail-in balloting.
I really
Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, and most other states allowed anyone to get an absentee ballot and cast their vote without showing any ID. The voting took place entirely on the honor system. No identification of any kind was required. Most Americans would also be shocked to learn that no state in the country verifies United States citizenship as a condition for voting in federal elections. This is a national disgrace. No other advanced country conducts elections this way. Many European countries have instituted major restrictions on mail-in voting specifically because they recognize the nearly unlimited potential for fraud. Out of 42...
Brother, there's countries that literally, where you can literally fucking... That's a lie. There's countries where you can literally vote via the internet. Like, what kind of take is that? In most places, people don't even consider mail-in votes because it's so simple that you just walk in and you vote without a single fucking fear that you might have to wait in line. I live in Germany and everyone who's 18 plus gets a ballot, which you can mail. Yeah. What country is he talking about, dude? Most places have national IDs, though. Yeah, no, that's true. That's why voter ID doesn't work in the same way. That's why voter ID laws are really restrictive and work to suppress the vote in America, but not anywhere else. Because everyone gets a fucking national ID. You don't have to get a driver's license in other countries. You can vote with your national ID. Everyone has, like, identification. Osman, it's 3 p.m. Who's on the cabinet? Okay, dude, shut the fuck up, okay? I'm talking to David right now. I told him we were going to watch this Trump thing and that because I thought he was, like, late. I was like, don't worry, take your time. I just said, let me know when you want to be on. I'll stop this and go. Why isn't this fucking working? Chatterino's broken. I will stop the video and go into I'll stop the video and have the conversation with David about cabinet picks and stuff like that in a second if he's down to come on right now. God damn, dude. Chill.
You have converted me from a reactionary.
Broken. We talked about Gabriel Sterling? No.
European nations, all but 2, prohibit absentee ballots entirely for people who reside inside the country.